To live stream. Da da da. To live. And it's on. Cool. So, how's life on the other side of school?
Oh my God, it's crazy because I had my first grieving moment the other day and it hit me. I'm like,
Oh,
oh my God. Because I've been in school for like 4 or 5 years.
right.
So, like, the routine has just been the same every day. So, it was a shock. It was, oh my God, this is definitely a new chapter. It's really weird.
Yeah. I mean, you totally have a lot of things to figure out.
Oh my God, so much.
Yeah.
This is gonna be fun. And I'm leaving to um United Kingdom in like 2, 3 days. So that'll
Oh,
be fun.
yeah, that'll be good. And how long are you there? It's like a week retreat?
Uh, yeah, well, I'm not just gonna go to the Christian Emergency Center. I'm just also gonna just travel around too. So it's not a set time. I didn't get like a I only got a one way. So it's really maybe even until my graduation ceremony.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I am looking online to make sure just in case somebody's chatting. So let's see here. How do I do that? Let's look here. Oh, 18 views, but they might have gone away while we were. Hello, YouTube, as I figure out how to click on these various things. View on YouTube. Okay. Cons Trying to see. Oh well. Last time I figured it out how to watch comments come in. This time I'm not.
Oh, it's not there. I have it open if I see anything, I can
Okay.
say something.
Okay. Let me know. Yeah. So figuring out life.
Yeah. Well, crazy.
So we're all in UK. Are you gonna go?
London for
Just
sure.
oh, okay, and then you
Uh,
don't know.
Yeah, and then and wherever the Christian Murdy place is. And I've been thinking about a lot about your comment, which was you know, being around seekers kind of just or seeking kind of you just kind of see the stupidity or the limitations of it, right? And like the pointlessness of it. And that to me, I think that's part of the goal, like usually like a lot of times which I mentioned before, I see myself when I see in others, right? Like I can reflect on maybe the limitation in my thinking when I see other people thinking in that same style, right? So it's like when I go there and then we're both seeking, I'm like, isn't all this stuff supposed to be about like present moment stuff anyways and just,
Right,
you know,
right. So it's like, yeah, so it's kind of hypocrisy is kind of built into it.
yeah, there's an irony to it.
Yeah. So then what's the cure to that? Because so I was at a dance camp and there was these monks from Tibet came and they came up to the land and they blessed the land and then they sat down and people were able to ask questions. And it was so funny because this one girl tried to ask a question where she was basically saying, I'm trying to be unattached from everything, but I don't seem to be able to do that. And so there was the Tibetan monks, and then they had a translator. And the
Mhm.
translator kept trying to translate it to the monks, and the monks literally couldn't understand it, what she was asking.
Mm.
And so she kept trying to say it a different way, and then the translator would try to translate it a different way. And finally, she said something like, I'm trying to not want anything. And the
Mm.
translator looked at her and said, except enlightenment, right?
Yeah.
And then he
Yeah.
translated it to the monk, and that time the monk kind of got it and came back with this thing where he was basically saying, Buddha is Buddha.
Mm.
Don't worry about
Yeah.
trying to be like Buddha. But the thing that really struck me was I think you have to really, really want enlightenment, or seeking is just a forever game,
Yeah. Yes. Because
right?
it's well, that's why, I like your analogy of it's more of a peeling down the layers process more than getting somewhere, right?
Right,
It's
but
more
you have
like
to
a
know that you can peel them all away. And
mhm.
you can't believe it if you don't believe it. You can't believe just in enlightenment. You have to believe that you can find it. And you
Mhm.
can't believe that you can find it if you have your definition of enlightenment that it's something that's so obscure you'll never find. I mean,
Yeah.
it's such a mind loop.
Yeah.
And so
Well,
that's
there was an excerpt in Osho. He has this book called Book of Secrets, 112 Meditations or
yeah,
whatever.
uh-huh.
And in one of the pages, I think he describes spiritual effort and spiritual effortlessness like the best I've ever read it. I won't be able to repeat it in any good
Right,
way,
right.
but like it's interesting because what it's highlighting is the nature of the paradox of seeking and stuff. But um, yeah, I mean, it's weird. It
Yeah,
could
so there are
probably
so many
be
people.
more logically. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up because I do have that book, the book. Well, I think there's several of those, the Book of Secrets. But man, he
Mm.
could totally nail it the way he would talk about it. Of course, you have to listen to hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of stuff, but one of the things I've always noticed is that everybody wants to be a spiritual teacher. Don't know why. Because they think it's important and you're sitting up there in the chair and everybody's,
Yeah.
praising you. And they also just think that the attainment itself is like so important. But I noticed that anyone on the path at whatever point they start teaching, even if it's just talking to their friends, thinking that they have something to give, that's where their development stops.
Hmm.
Because the second
Hmm.
you're teaching, now you're invested in what you think it is,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so that'll be
And
interesting.
that's just the thing, right? Because like, where do we get the ideas of like what we think it is? It's obviously from the people that we think have it, right? So whatever their personality can be, we start thinking, oh, that's what it is, right?
Well,
So
that's
that's one of the
so
so.
interesting. Yeah, because so like you were raised Muslim. You weren't raised in an Eastern tradition. And you only kind of started studying this stuff a little while ago. And why are your belief systems about what
Mhm.
enlightenment is so the same as everybody else's?
Yeah, well, mine. Oh, and exactly. That's probably because like the teachers, right? Like I'm watching Krishnamurti and I'm like, oh, so that's what it looks like. Or I
It
see
looks like, right,
yeah,
right.
yeah. So
Yeah,
there's an image to it, right? And so like
yes,
that's why I would say one of I'm just so grateful for you because I think even in your description of who you are on your website, you were like, oh, just another old gal on the side of the street that you'll see too, right? And I
right,
was like, yeah, that's of course, right? And
right.
there's this I think what makes a lot of sense is that personality characteristics and behavior isn't necessarily correspondent with the perception of self or what is or whatever it is, right?
Right,
And
right.
so like it I think even like Vishwan said something like, oh yeah, someone can wake up without heart, right? Like
Yes, right.
it's possible. Even you got me interested in Susan Marie, and I think she even
Yeah.
has like a title on her YouTube saying like um how not everyone that's enlightened is ethical. Something on the lines of that, right?
Well, and
And I mean,
definitely
if
not
that's
all teachers are ethical. You can
there you
be
go.
not enlightened and be teaching enlightenment.
There
You
you
can
go.
be not enlightened, teaching enlightened, and be a very ethical person. Uh,
Mm.
Ram Dass. Uh,
Yeah.
let's see, wait, there's Krishna Das, there's Ram Dass. Krishna Das is the kirtan guy. Ram Dass, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
never got it, but he's a very ethical person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
and then
you say he never got it. Is that like is that like what he said and stuff?
yeah, he'll say it. He'll say it, but it's just obvious from the
Interesting.
things that he says. He teaches seeking.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm curious, right? I mean, I don't know if you want to go here because I know the title of the video is I am what I am, Papaji
No,
Laughter.
no, yeah, this is
Do you want to stick
Papaji.
with that or
Well, we actually are
okay,
talking about Papaji because you nailed
okay.
it just a few minutes
Oh,
ago where you
with
were
what it
talking
looks
about
like.
Krishnamurti and you were
Yeah.
saying it was what Krishnamurti looked like,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
Papaji, he looked like this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
All the
exactly.
time. I mean, he's like laughing, 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 and everyone around him's laughing. And I mean, I'd rather be like that. Anyway, so we're actually talking about the title of this video anyway. So what were you going to say?
Um, yeah, I mean, so I mean, I still I think that there's different um like usages of the word enlightenment,
Oh,
right?
yes.
Depending on the tradition, depending even within the tradition, right?
Yeah,
Like I don't some people may just have some kind of like satori or glimpse experience, I think. But that's not necessarily enlightenment.
yes,
And th to you, I think you were saying, my I don't ever forget who I am,
right,
right? So I think that seems like one too. And then there's also some kind of one that people like describe where you're like there are no vasanas or impressions in the mind and you're just absolutely nothing. Like moksha, I think they would say.
right, right, right.
And
Osho was really funny about that too because he talked about because he was in India, right? And
mm,
there were so many people like out on the streets who were being, fed and taken care of and uh, as if they were enlightened because they were just like always, And he said that someone that had like a complete psychotic break or like say a stroke so that they're like just literally incapacitated. So they're not necessarily here nor there, but they're just not normal,
mm,
whatever, and they would
mm.
be seen as enlightened. So you're right. There are so many definitions of it. Um, that's why I've
But
been thinking.
what's the one you refer to? Like in these conversations.
Okay, when I talk about enlightenment, I talk about a person who knows who they are.
Okay.
And it's
Whatever that means for me, I guess.
well, yeah, but yeah. Well,
Mm.
when you know who you are, then you're not divided. There's only one of you.
The undivided, right?
The un
I think that
Yeah,
makes right. So
right.
yeah, I mean just like even when I'm sure you've heard Krishnamurti say things like the observer is the observed,
Yes, uh-huh,
right?
right.
And I mean, I'll know what he means when I know what he means, right?
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
I mean, but I'm not gonna, I can think about it, right? And like, oh, I wonder what it is, right?
You're right.
But like
Well,
fully,
I always have to throw in that you do know who you are right this minute.
hmm,
You know
what?
it. Because it's that simple, you know? And so, but there will come a moment where you go, oh, they say there's a Guru Nanak, I guess his name
Mhm.
was, that when he became enlightened, he went, Wah! You know? Why they say Waguru.
Wagyu, okay.
Waguru, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. I think that's like their salam alaikum.
Right.
Wagyu ka
Wagru,
khalsa. Like,
Wagru, yeah, right.
cool.
There's lots of songs and lots of chants with that. So that's what it means. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's why he named his uh religion Sikh,
See,
because you can't speak.
yeah. But then there's so many people, like there's even a saying of Saint Francis that um what you're looking for is where you're looking from, you know, who you are,
Hmm.
who you
Hmm.
are. So, and so I think a better word to use because enlightenment has too many. Um,
But you say know yourself, know myself, know
know yourself, yes, once you know yourself. But I'm thinking of starting to call it first mind because it's
first.
the mind, first mind because it's the mind that you had before all these, you started believing in all these concepts.
Hmm.
If you had been raised from day one with nobody ever telling you a single lie, who would you be? Or not lie, but because
Or
lie,
what's underneath all that, all
what's
those concepts,
uh-huh,
right?
uh-huh, right. And so first mind works because that also is the mind that an indigenous or some of the first people would have
Mm.
had because they would have never been told a lie. Lie's the wrong word because that kind of sounds like somebody did it on purpose. So more like you never have been taught a misconception.
So it's interesting, right? Because if I could recall any like a glimpse of experience, right? And at least for me, uh it's not really so much like in a way there is no division, but it's like, wait, I can't divide myself because I can't find me, right? And so like there's a scariness, a scary experience that I have usually in those. Um, and I mentioned that before. But I remember even if I could recall my experience, I remember one of the thoughts that came up after was everyone's lying to me, right? Or it's just like, what is this lie, right? Is it, it's like that's so weird, right? It's like I remember cognizing it as like so much of these concepts as like a lie, which is weird. Like I
It's the simplest way to say it. And actually, it's a really good way to think about it too, because uh, lying is really difficult to maintain. Like that's
yeah,
why the cops can always catch the criminals, because it's really,
yes,
really hard to keep a consistent lie going,
yeah, yeah,
right? And
yes,
that's what every religion is. Like the dogma
yeah.
is as the
Oh my
religion
God.
goes on and on and on, the dogma becomes like more and more and
Yeah.
more complex.
Yeah. You know,
Com
I didn't one of the things I was surprised by is I didn't think I would get over so much of like the Islamic dogmas and my psychology so fast. But like, man, like, just like yeah, I remember even just like a year ago, I was like, am I going to hell? Am I gonna burn? Right? And it's just like, even though like, when I was saying that, it's weird. I didn't actually think it, but to really deconstruct that, right? Like I know a lot of people spend their whole lives like, trying to deal with that. Like that's a
right.
it's a burn. No, 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 no pun, but like
Right,
it
right,
burns
right.
the mind.
Right, it really is. So it's like you take this whole concept of something that very likely doesn't exist at all. You know, the heaven hell thing. And
Well,
then
it's as a state of consciousness, you can say that.
as
But it's like
a state
it's
of
here,
consciousness, yeah, you can certainly say that. Yeah, yeah,
right? It's like, analogy tools. I like that, right?
yeah.
And that's how they all understood it anyways. Like, I mean, that's why it was actually easy when I was like reading like the early Sufis and like their work. It was just like, yeah, we don't understand this as a literal thing. Like,
Right.
sure, literally, I guess, right? But
Mhm.
not so much in the way a lot of Abrahamic theology
Right.
puts it.
Well, so much of it is true. Like if you on purpose do a really horrible thing,
Mm,
you go to hell like right away
yeah.
because now your mind
Yeah.
is just completely messed up.
Yeah.
Trying to deal with it, you know, the guilt of it and the hiding of it and the lying about
Yeah.
it. Yeah, but if you do, you know, if you really concentrate on living a life where you're doing good works and you're taking care of the people around you and you're taking care of yourself and you're doing the best you can, you then live in heaven in a
Well,
certain
that's why I wish the Abrahamic religions had karma in it. Like it would solve so many problems for so many people.
well, yeah, except for the fact that in isn't the idea of karma really something that happens to you after you die, though not really so much immediate?
Well,
Really more the you come back as a spider if you
oh, reincarnation. I see, when I think of karma, I don't even think of reincarnation. Like I really only think of just the fact of cause and effect, right?
yeah,
Like I mean, like what you were just saying, right? If I do something that harms me or others, right? Like
right.
I'm facing, hell,
You
right?
yeah, you face consequences
Yeah.
to it. Yeah. Hmm.
But it's not like out of nowhere, and it's not like there's a punitive God
Well,
that's
yeah, it's Christianity and Islam itself has it so that God's sitting up there making little checks, right? Check, check. Oh,
yeah,
check, check.
yeah.
Oh, check, check.
Well, there was a what's it called? I think Osho in one of his videos. It was so funny. I think he said, you know, God is interfering with my work here, right? I need you to get him out.
Well, Osho always said there's only two kinds of criminals, the priest and the politician.
Mm,
Because
damn.
the priest is out there selling, you know, the religion that holds people down so that the
Mm.
politicians can control them.
Hey man, it's not a crazy idea.
Yeah, yeah. And everybody wants to be the priest.
So that's interesting because I'll say that I'm even going far in, like, thankfully this is only getting like 11 views and stuff, right? But
Yes.
I'm even going far, like even doing this kind of stuff. Like there's no, at least for me as of now, no inclination to even put any of my spirituality engagement out there like at all.
Right,
Like
right.
and I don't know where that's from. Um,
I
but that's not.
think Islam taught you a certain amount of humility and the value of humility.
Yes, there is that. I remember, there was this one uncle, and he was a beautiful speaker, and I was like, oh, why don't you become a sheikh? And he was like, God, no. And I was just like, why not? And he's like, what do I know? And like, what if? And he's a very smart guy, right? Like he was like teaching me so much, and he was like, like, what do I know? Like I don't know if, like, what if my teachings are wrong and they mislead people, right?
Right,
Or, you know.
right.
I'm not gonna put myself there, and that changed the way I think about, that stuff. But even for me, just even if I didn't know, let's say,
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Like, I guess like it's a hard social role to play. That's my perspective of it.
I say more.
Like, so like there's a social identity that comes with being a priest or a preacher or a spiritual
Right.
teacher or whatever. There's people that you're now gonna have to be surrounded with, right? Or m- a certain kind of psychology you're always gonna be around, right? Which
Right,
is like people who are seeking, right? You can say that the people that, you've been dealing with for X amount of years with the mystic
right.
dance, the
Yeah.
people Vishwan deals with, people Krishnamurti, right? And I mean, for one, sorry, I think I might get annoyed very easily, right? And
You might
two,
go,
it's
what?
just
I'm
there's
shocked.
a
Cut out a
get
little.
it get annoyed,
Oh,
get
annoyed.
annoyed.
Yes.
Yeah, because the community, it doesn't have, I mean, it can have diversity in different ways, but I'm just gonna have to be dealing with the same kind of people when I think that, I like the way my professors teach spirituality. They don't teach spirituality. They teach science. And like it gets you reflecting on things that I think can just lead someone to self-reflection and like,
Right.
deeper spiritual things. But
There's
they
a
make their own
totally
practices.
different, there's a total difference between being curious about something or preaching it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, and so people just very easily jump over that barrier between the two and start
Yeah.
trying to preach, which is like, look at some of the comments on my videos.
Yeah. 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 Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, people come in as blah 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 blah. I'm like,
Oh
what?
my God. Yeah, see, I had enough of that from the Islamic community that I mean, it's one of the reasons that, kind of just made me want to change, like the people I was around, the people I spoke to, just because debates are so energy consuming and useless. And I mean, the only thing debates can be useful for is just to see the stupidity of debates. Like
Right,
seriously, like at least from my experience, that's
right.
what it
Unless you can start talking about something real.
mm,
So that's the whole, like spiritual seekers just pretty much scare me.
yeah,
Yeah,
interesting.
it's like, okay. Whatever you say. I-
Well, you said you had experiences with sheikhs and stuff that were just totally not getting you and stuff.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. It's like, so
That's interesting.
there's no break in the armor when you're
Mm,
talking to somebody. You can't just talk to the person. Unless, so what the thing that's so funny is like out in the Sufi world and the dance world and stuff like that. I mean, there's very distinct kinds of people. There's the spiritual teachery people, and
mm,
then there's, just dancers and the people that are there to have their heart healed. And
mm,
I can talk to the people all day long about just anything. But the second
mm.
I'm talking to someone who thinks they know something, I just can't even have a conversation. I don't even know how to
So
start.
give me what would they say? Like what kind of like
You know,
topics would they bring up? Like would they
I
even ask questions or would they just say things?
no, no. So I wrote this book about retelling the story of Buddha, you know,
Mm,
like go way back and put Buddha into context. And so I was at this camp and I actually just read the story, and I thought that that would kind of just start some conversations on, oh, well, this is kind of interesting, and that's kind of interesting, and what about this and what about that? But all the comments were, I had just read my book, right? And then the comments were, oh, did you read so and so's book on Buddha? It's really good. And I'm like,
I see
wait
what
a
you're
minute,
saying.
we're just reading my book
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
on Buddha, and all of a sudden you just immediately dismiss me and bring in this person with that you think has more authority.
Mm. Well,
Or
yeah, interesting.
yeah, and they start telling me what they believe. Oh, Buddha did this and Buddha did that, and oh,
Oh, that's so ugly.
he wasn't 34 years old, he was 33 and a half or like,
Yeah,
oh, he
yeah,
lived in blah blah blah, and details, 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 showing how
yeah.
smart they are rather than just kind of discussing.
Okay, it's so interesting because, thankfully I don't have spiritual conversations conversations with people other than these, right? And
Hmm.
so like I really like and I guess like I'm so disinterested in conversations about anything that kind of sounds like truth belongs to someone, to some kind of
Right.
tradition. That
Right.
there is like even when people say like spirituality started in India, I'm just like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like really, like like
People
archaeologically,
didn't exist before that.
it doesn't make sense to me. And
But
so like I can understand if they're saying like, systematically, they had the concepts, but I don't know, yeah, no, especially I have allergic reactions to a lot of dogmatic religious people and a lot of new agey spirituality, which is probably something I have to work on because it's probably a bit judgmental.
well, but how can you can't um it's like such yeah, I I can't even say it's like so deep. There's like no
It's very conditioned. It feels like it's very and it's like conspiracy theory like thinking,
right.
you
And they
know.
just
And
assume you believe the same thing
yeah,
and they say it as if it's just absolutely true.
with this very serious tone as
Yes,
well.
yes.
And so that's why it's one of the coolest things I read or yeah that I was actually reflecting on a lot. And actually has to do with the title of this video. Seriousness is a disease. And it
Right.
definitely can be. And how can truth be something serious? And if it makes so much more sense that it's ordinary.
It's
Like
ordinary,
it is
it's
ordinary.
lighthearted, it's you, it's me, it's us, it's the trees, it's the grass.
It's something, if anything, you laugh at, right?
Right,
That makes something so much
right.
sense.
Have you did I bet you didn't have any classes just on laughter and comedy. You know,
Um,
there's actually kind of a science behind comedy, and I'd like to learn it
oh,
better.
there is we did. There was yeah, it's very interesting. It wasn't on laughter and comedy, but it was the psychology of humor.
Yeah,
And it was interesting. It wasn't necessarily a class on psychology of humor, but it was a seminar, and one of the classes was on psychology of humor. And yeah, it was super cool actually because there's only like two main professors in like American psychology communities that like actually focus on it. It's not like a heavily researched study, but it's so interesting. Very, very interesting.
yeah, but what is it that makes people laugh? It's always
So,
like connecting two weird things together in a way that doesn't make sense.
well, one thing, and this could actually make a lot of sense for what we're talking about.
Because
Uh,
Papaji,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
what was
So,
he laughing at?
so there's I forget the whole formula to like scientifically they were trying to understand what makes something funny, right? Like when we laugh at something, what's really going on? I
Right,
forget the whole formula, but one of them was a violation. Oh, a benign violation. So a benign was one piece, and a
right.
violation was another part of it. And so, how does this I guess apply to this? Well, I mean, it's enlightenment can almost be something funny because it's a violation because it violates what you thought it was, and it
Exactly.
violates the whole I guess the process of seeking something that's already here, right?
And it violates what you thought you were
Yeah.
and replaces it with what you so obviously are. How can you not laugh? It's like,
And
oh,
it's benign. So
right. It's like,
yeah,
ah, of course. Like,
interesting.
and then look at the kind of jokes that just last and last and last. Like there's the one, was it Abbott and Costello, the who's on first? Have you ever
Mm.
heard that joke? Okay, he's talking about baseball. And he's like, who's on first? And the other guy is like, well, yeah, who's on first? like, what are you saying? He's like, no, what's on second? Who's on first?
Oh yes, 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 yes. Oh, that one, that one. I love it.
Right,
Yeah,
right. And they go on and on and on. And that one just, I mean, I use that all the time when we're
I
talking
love
about
it.
just dumb stuff, and then you can just throw in, well, who's on first? You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my God, I totally forgot about that one.
Right. Well,
That's so funny.
maybe that's the key to enlightenment too. Who are you? No, what's on second? Who are
Yeah, that's
you?
good.
You know what's going to be interesting is when you're with the Krishnamurti people, um, talking to the Krishnamurti people and seeing how they are. My
Mm.
feeling is that the Krishnamurti people are really in their heads.
Okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
I'm curious to find out what you find out.
Yeah, I'll keep you updated. I mean, I'll even we should even do a call there because there's like a dorm they provide.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's like a room I'm getting for like 3, 4 days,
Oh, that'd be
so
fun.
that'll be
Okay, we could do that.
yeah. I know. Well, you know, it's sorry, go on.
And then how do you talk to them?
I have
You
no
know,
idea. I have no idea how it's gonna go. I think there's like I don't know. I just saw that there's a room and I saw a photo of a bunch of people talking there. But
yeah.
I'm not going for just that. I'm going for exploration,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, because you're
Mm.
curious. Yeah.
Yeah,
And Krishnamurti is very, very cool. And he was explaining something really normal with over and over and
yeah,
over, you know?
yeah.
So yeah, that'll be interesting to see. I have this friend who likes to just play little uh psychological games with people. And so I was down in Mexico with him, and he comes up to me and he says, I want to ask you a question. He says, I'm going around and I'm asking everybody the same question and seeing how people respond. And so he said, are you normal? That's the
Mm,
question he's asking everybody. Are you normal?
mm,
I had to think about it a while. I'm like, well, let's see, what do you mean by normal? Because I mean, if he had said, are you ordinary? I would have just immediately said ordinary, right? I would have said yes. But I had to think about it. You know, normal and ordinary, those are two really similar things. And so I said,
mm,
yes, I'm normal. And but the funny thing about it is that I gave it some thought because I wanted to make sure I wasn't bragging.
mm.
To say yes,
Yeah,
I'm normal, yes, I'm ordinary, right? And he said that of all the people that he's asked that question to, nobody says yes, I'm normal. Everyone is like, oh no, you know, I'm this, that, I'm the other thing, I'm the
yeah.
other. Yeah, so that was
Yes,
funny.
yes.
Yeah. So maybe a question.
False humility is like a lot of people are trying to be falsely humble.
No, 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 I don't think they see normal uh as anything to brag about at all. I think
Mm,
that, you know, they're definitely not like the normal guy. They're
mm.
way more this, that, or the other thing.
Okay, okay,
Way
okay.
above normal, you
Oh,
know.
okay, I understand what you mean.
Yeah, like if everybody was above average, what would average be?
Yeah, literally. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting, right? So I was even thinking about it. Um, we have ideas of like enlightenment, right? Where
Right,
it's oh, it means being wise. Well, what is wise? Like that's still something that has to be relative, right? So like were we wise 80,000 years ago?
right.
Right? Well, we were wise to the capacity we were wise at,
We were probably
right? And it's just like
more wise.
right? So like you can't even have an idea about what wisdom is, right? So that's just the thing. It's we're associating a lot
Well,
of
I would say though more that an enlightened person is more wise only for one reason, because when you're enlightened, you're way less distracted.
less distracted.
Less distracted because I mean just think of the millions of concepts and beliefs and stuff
Yes.
that someone has to constantly keep up with in order to get through there.
Yes, yes. You know,
So
one of my yeah,
if
go
you
on.
don't have all of that, then you're just way more, it's way more simple to just be a human being when you're awake. It's way easier.
Yeah.
And so you have a much more mental capacity to notice what's going on around you. And when you
Mm.
notice what's going on around you, wisdom grows. That's
Yes.
why enlightened people are wise.
Yes, yes. Which makes so like that. I think you just described the process like so well. And that's definitely what I was assuming because I don't even think that's like just unique to enlightenment per se. Because you also had this video, which is probably one of my favorite videos by you. It was like a short, and you were just like, when you uncover a lie, all the lies associated with that big lie start to fall apart. And you don't
Right.
need to like keep doing all that puzzle piece work. It's just like they just it starts making more sense, you said, right? Something like that.
Right. It just all falls off. Was that the one where I was using uh the movie? It was not the jerk or the idiot. No, it is the jerk, where he grows up in a black family, but he's a white guy. But he grows
No,
up in a
I'm
big black family. Steve Martin.
oh
Is
that yeah,
yes,
okay,
the
okay. I
jerk.
know about
Yeah,
it.
yeah. He grows up in this black family and he's absolutely convinced that he's black. All of his brothers and sisters keep telling him, no, you're not, you're white. But he can't see himself, right? Because they're real poor, they don't have mirrors or anything. And then he goes out and does things. And there's a scene where he has the revelation where he realizes he's white.
Mm.
And so he, and you can't unrealize it.
Yeah, you can't unrealize it.
And so from that moment on, he knew he was white. And so that it's just very much like that. All the things that didn't make sense in his life then dropped
Yeah.
away.
Oh, that's such a great analogy. That's so sick.
Right,
I love that.
right.
Yeah,
Another
so
really good one is once you find your keys, you don't keep searching for your keys, right? Ever lose your
okay.
keys? You're
Yeah.
looking and
Oh,
you need to go somewhere. Once you find your keys, you stop looking for them. You know where they are. They're in your hand.
I love it. That's
Yes.
so awesome.
Simple stuff, man.
Was there anything you wanted to talk about? I probably have
No,
a
we're talking
question.
about Papaji.
Papa G. Are we? I don't even yo, to be honest, I don't I have to who's Papa G again?
So, well, just look it up. So you'll find that he's
Oh,
always
I've
like,
seen his face. I've seen his
yeah,
face.
yeah. He was the one that said, I am that I am. So he was Andrew Cohen's teacher, and Andrew Cohen passed away like last week or the week before. He had a big heart attack. Yeah, passed
I'm
away.
still new to this community.
Yeah, yeah. But so
Oh, okay.
I had never really looked up Papaji before. And so I'm like, well, who was Andrew's?
Oh yeah. Oh, have you heard of Sam Harris?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay, so he's one of the guys that actually introduced me to spirituality. He's a neuroscientist and he has an app called Waking Up. And in that app, that's kind of where I was introduced to like Advaita, right? So like he
Oh,
was kind of he mentioned Advaita and a bunch of he just starts you off with non-duality. So like if you're just like beginning, you'll just be like, yeah, non-duality this, right? So
yeah.
I didn't the first thing I knew in like spirituality was like just that. And he was I guess a student of Papaji.
Oh, is he? He's got the Making Sense podcast.
Making sense, yes. But
Hmm.
he's a very political guy too.
Ah, yeah, good.
Yeah.
Life is politics these days.
Yeah. So Sam Harris is a big one. So they call him the rational mystic. A lot of
Oh,
people, right? It's
yeah.
just because he just makes all of this as scientific as you can, right?
Oh,
Like it puts it in ways that are very and extremely scientific, right? And like uses
uh-huh.
that kind of language. Um, to I think to the degree that's appropriate. So, but he's cool. But one of
Science
the
is about finding what's true and
yeah,
what is and how things work. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So his podcast and his app is cool because he gets like any scientist that is remotely interested or does work that's associated with spirituality, like he has like a podcast with them, like a whole
Oh,
hour. So
cool. I'll look him up and see.
yeah. Um let's see.
So
I
Papa
want,
G was his teacher too then, huh? So let me,
yeah, I don't know like how deep their relationship were, but it was, but something. There was something. Uh,
yeah, so there was this, so Papa G's thing he was teaching was, it's like, who are you? And the answer he would say is, I am that I am. And so
mm,
look up and find there's an interview with Papa G where he's sitting there, but he's there, and the interviewer comes up with the microphone, and his very first question is, "So, who are you?" You know what you would do when you're
mm,
meeting somebody, like the very most
yeah,
normal, "Who are you?" And
yeah.
he starts laughing, and the interviewer starts laughing, and everybody in the whole audience starts laughing, and they like just literally laugh through the whole.
Oh my God, that's so sick. I want to watch that.
And who are you? And then finally, when Papaji gets to the place where he can breathe enough to answer, he says, I am that I am. You know,
That's so cool.
yeah. So that's the thing about Papaji, that's the kind, laughing at yourself. Can you laugh at yourself?
We spoke about that. It's so
Yeah,
powerful, right?
right.
It's so powerful.
You
Yeah,
can't
there
laugh
was
at yourself if you think you're important.
no, no, or serious, right?
Right.
Completely. It's like the opposite
It's
thing.
like the opposite. Yeah. Anyway,
And
we're
and
getting on
you
towards
don't
our
like it too
hour.
when other people are laughing at you. That's
Yeah,
another thing.
unless
We have a
it's
lot
a
of
genuine, that genuine including laughter that includes you,
uh,
that's fun.
yeah,
Every,
yeah.
yeah, everybody likes that where you're all laughing together, you know. But the laughing and taunting and the bullying laugh,
Mm,
the exclusion laugh, that one,
yeah.
yeah, the I'm better than you laugh, that one's no fun.
No fun, no.
No, not at all. So, yeah, we're getting on to our hour here. We should probably kind of just wrap it up. But you're taking off soon, so just contact me. Are you going to be able to? Well, you're already in Canada. Are you going to be able to use your phone over there
Yeah, should be.
to
And
text?
well, I text you on iMessage too, so it should be okay.
Okay, well,
I don't
and
know if I'm gonna get a new number or anything, but I'll contact you somehow.
okay, okay, we'll do that and get on. Yeah, I want to see take some pictures. I want to see the Krishnamurti people.
I got you.
I bet there's some very, very cool people there.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, part of traveling is meeting people, right? And I am interested in that for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And run around London and the UK, and
Hmm.
yeah, it's easy to get around. Well, it might be in
Yeah, even like their trains and buses, they go far.
yeah, yeah, they
Yeah,
do.
it's cool.
So cool. Okay, let's take
All
off and we'll talk again
right.
soon.
Thank you, Zuri.
You
Take
bet.
care.